I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor to the Most High. We're going to get into it, man. So, Proverbs 3:31 says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So, and we also know that the scripture says, they that ruled over you hated you. So we're not supposed to be looking at these other nations and the way that they do things and following their footsteps. For example, blood sacrificing. Most I said we are not supposed to do that. Doing all manner of wickedness. To gain success. We are not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to look at them, and envy them and choose their ways to gain success. We're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to be glorifying that. Our ways are contrary to their ways. The Most I said we are not supposed to do that. Now, I was looking at, some of these rappers the other day, and you can see that they glorify a lot of this Italian culture, this gangster Italian culture, and especially this no snitch culture. That was not our ways, man. The scripture says, look, we're supposed to expose wickedness, not hide it. Now, when the Italians came over here and they came over to America, they came over here to take over, like the mafia and all that stuff, And what they were doing, they were extorting and blackmailing, law-abiding citizens. Why? Because they didn't want to work themselves. They were extorting, like, for example, people that own a laundromat business or a dry cleaning business, and these are just law-abiding citizens, but they had the muscle to do it, and people just want to live their lives, so extortion, man, these are not the things that the Most High are in favor of, and when you really watch the way that these guys behave. And when I study the scripture, they walk in the footsteps of Cain, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But let's look at some of these guys' names, man. Just a few of these guys, rappers. So you had what? John Gotti, Lucky Luciano, and Jimmy Two Times. It's a few of them. John Gotti was big in the mafia. But you look at some of these rappers. Finesse Two Times. He's copying Jimmy Two Times. Irv Gotti. He has the persona of John Gotti. Casanova Two Times. Yo Gotti. Fede Luciano. These guys, persona or rap persona is glorifying, this wicked mafia, Italian mafia, man. This is crazy. And like I said, there's no snitch culture. These were not our ways, But like I said, the mafia was pretty big in Hollywood. Italian gangster culture was pretty big in Hollywood at one point. Like the Scarfaces and the Goodfellas and the Bronx Tales, those movies. And, they're good movies. I understand that. But we were not supposed to be glorifying wicked men. These guys' whole rap persona has the last name of another man. Caucasian men, Italian Caucasian men in their names, man. We're not supposed to walk in the footsteps of these guys, man. Oh, man. This is the problem throughout the scriptures that the Most High kept saying. Like, we had a problem with following the other nations. We're not supposed to be following them and letting them influence us with their wickedness. We're supposed to be the oracles of the word, teaching the word and spreading the truth and spreading righteousness around, not wickedness, man. But they know. And they understand the scriptures, and they're going to choose the bases and put them as models and, icons of success. And this is why everybody's following them, and these guys is following them. And this is time again, this is why I say these are not the wise men. you know, because these are the things that set us into captivity, you know, and have them ruling over us. The scripture says the basis of men is going to rule over us, you know. These people in the mafia were wicked men, you know. We're not talking about, you know, law-abiding citizens. We're talking about wicked men. You know, and this is what really got us cursed. And you see they still doing it today. You know, we're not supposed to be, you know, following in the footsteps of these guys. Oh man, let's keep going, man. So you remember, well, if you're from New York, you're probably gonna remember this. But if not, it is what it is. But you remember New York, you know, for a point in time, they had this whole stop snitching culture. You know what I mean? You know, and they all had these guys with the stop snitching church, and it's pretty much with the you know, the diplomats and Cameron and Jim Jones and them, all this whole stop snitching, you know, yeah, and a lot of these guys is informants, man, you know. And even in the mafia, you had all them guys, like, they was doing crime and they didn't want to do the time, and they were snitching themselves, you know. So if you don't want to do no time, then stop doing the crime, you know. And they promoted this stuff. This was not our lifestyle, man. You know, these guys are looking at the movies and the things, you know, these other wicked men was doing and emulating that. You know, we're not supposed to be emulating them. This, you know, and this is like when they started this stuff, wickedness festered, you know. Then you got law-abiding citizens talking about, I ain't no snitch and all this stupid crap, man. These were not the wise men, and this is why these guys set them up over us, you know, because you glorifying a whole another man, you know. You fascinated and admiring wicked men, you know. Of course they're gonna set you up over them, you know, or over us and promote them, you know. The scriptures don't say to expose wickedness. It don't say this, you know, this whole stop snitching stuff. And this wickedness festered in the communities, you know, and they were allowed to, you know, to do what they did, you know. It's crazy, man. You really look at the way these guys moved. They were copying the other nations, man. Oh man, let's keep going. So you got like Jim Jones. He loved to call himself the capo. Like, this is mafia stuff. I'm Jim Jones the capo, you know. So the capo is describes a ranking made member of a family who leads a crew of soldiers. A capo is similar to a military captain who commands soldiers. Soldiers, also known as a made man. Soldiers are the lowest members of the crime family, but still command respect in the organization. So this is what Jim Jones called himself. He called himself the capo. This is, you know, Italian culture. This is what they call themselves in the Italian mafia. You know, we were not supposed to be following these men. And then to top it off, you got Jim Jones. His name is named after a white man, a Caucasian man, who was a wicked man. He was the real Jim Jones was a pastor of a church. I'm gonna summarize. I don't remember the story too well, and pretty much he went into like a low income area where it was a lot of black people, and he became the pastor of the church, and he was abusing these guys. You know, he was doing all manner of wickedness to them, and he caused 700 of them to commit suicide willingly. He spiked the Kool-Aid with cyanide, and he made all of them drink it, 700 of them, and they all died. It was babies too, you know. He convinced them to drink this Kool-Aid. So I'm gonna ask you a question: why would you name yourself after somebody like that? You know, a Caucasian man that caused 700 people to die, you know, in a church by spiking Kool-Aid with cyanide. Why would you name yourself after somebody like that? I don't know, man. We are not supposed to follow the ways of these other nations, man. Oh, man. the capo. This is what he calls himself. This is Italian mafia culture, gangster culture, that these niggas is copying. Even somebody like a Nas, you got like Pablo Escobar. I think he was probably Colombian or Spanish, whatever. But still, like that how he called himself Escobar. Like, Escobar season has returned. These are the ways of the other nations, man. These guys' whole persona, you carrying your whole rap persona as the last name of another man. You're supposed to be glamorizing another man like that. Oh man. Let's go to Jay-Z real quick. So right here, you got Jay-Z's first album, the song called The Evils. Look at what he says right here at the top. I never prayed to God, I prayed to God-y. That's right, it's wicked. That's life. I live it. Ain't asking for forgiveness for my sins. We know he's a Satanist and he don't believe in the Most High. The people, it's just lyrics. I know just lyrics. These guys glamorize other men. They lifestyle. They like that. And they followed it. And then they talking about no snitching, man. I never prayed to God. I prayed to God-y. Some blasphemous, it's blasphemous niggas, man. And they follow in their footsteps. They do the blood sacrifices. They follow the same thing that these guys are doing. And these guys are walking in the footsteps of Cain. We are not supposed to follow these guys, man. This was not our culture, man. This came from the mafia. Let's keep going. Let's take a look at Cain. Once again, the way that he did things, and we're gonna go into the Brightons of Josephus and then wrap it up. So right here, let's talk about Cain. It said, however, he did not accept of his punishment in order to amendment, but to increase his wickedness. For he only aimed to procure everything that was for his own bodily pleasure, though it obliged him to be injurious to his neighbors. He augmented his household substance with much wealth by rapine and violence. He excited his acquaintance to procure pleasures and spoils by robbery and became a great leader of men into wicked courses. Let me read that again. And became a great leader of men into wicked courses. This guy had an army with him. He had just like how the mafia got an army. And what do those guys do? They're telling these guys to go out there and do these things. Hey, put a hit on this guy. Put a hit on that guy. Rob that store. Extort this guy. This guy ain't pay us this week. So go in there and beat up his wife and his or break down his store and stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is what they were doing. Became a leader of great men into wicked courses. Oh man, I'm gonna stop right there, man. Scripture says he changed the world into cunning craftiness, man. It says right here. And whereas they lived innocently and generously, they knew nothing of such arts. The people were living innocently, and but these Cain and his people, they came through and were pretty much harming their neighbors around them. And this is how they gained their wealth. This is how they gained their wealth. This is what they were doing. And you could see the way that these guys live their lives. You look at these rappers. You look at the gangster Italian mafia life. It's in the footsteps of Cain. We're not supposed to be copying that. These guys' whole persona is after Italian gangster culture, bro. So right here, at the very bottom, it says, nay, even while Adam was alive, it came to pass that the posterity of Cain became exceeding wicked, everyone successively dying one after another, more wicked than the former. They were intolerable in war and vehement in robberies, and if anyone were slow to murder, yet was he bold in his profligate behavior, in acting unjustly and doing injuries for gain. Doing injuries for gain and acting unjustly, man. Oh man. So you see, these guys really don't have their own identity. When you really look at them, You know, I watch the movies too. You never see me want to go out there and I never take the last name of another man like that as a persona. You know, it's crazy, man. So it's a little short little lesson, man. And like I said, man, you know, Noriega, you know, it's a rapper called that too. Like you look at these guys and the lifestyle that they lived and the people that they looked up to was a or somebody else entire culture, bro, that was wicked. And the scripture says to envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways, man. Jay-Z in his lyrics said, I never prayed to God, I prayed to Gotti. That's a base man. You know? So you really gotta look at it, man. It's crazy. You know what? These guys were eating on the left-hand side. I did a video talking about I'm going to put the link in the description box. A blood oath with Satan. Like, look, you know, these guys were pricking their fingers and taking blood oaths and worshiping Mary. You know, like, yo, we're not supposed to be following that and doing blood sacrifices, man. These are the ways of the other nations, man. We've been following them, you know, thinking that we have to do this for success. You know, we don't keep our faith in the Most High. These guys eat on the left hand side. The mafia was eating strictly on the left hand side. You know, they were walking in the footsteps of Cain. When you look at the scriptures and you look at the way they lived their lives, nothing was godly about it. You know, and these guys is looking up to that. You know, this is what sent us into captivity, following the other nations, man. I ain't trying to beat a dead horse, man. So all praises to the Most High, man. Hopefully this was edifying. This is crazy, man. These guys' persona have a whole nother man as their last name. It's crazy, man. All praises to the Most High.